Moshe, thank you for your time this evening. And please, could you tell us why is it so important for you to be here this evening?
Well, you know, it's not my first time here, but it's my first time here in those demonstrations in front of the Chinese embassy after the 7th of October. And there's a connection. There is a connection between what happens in China with the unbelievable harassments of basic human rights in China, and erasing basic concepts of morality in the Chinese Empire, I would say. And what happened to us here? I think the lesson that we learned at the 7th of October is that when you decide to live side by side next to evil, try to deal with it, try to observe it, try to have business with that, okay? I'm talking, when I'm saying business, I mean in the wide perspective of business. You don't demonstrate, you don't show your moral attitude to what's happening to human beings, then the end result is that it swallows you. Just yesterday, a man was eaten by a shark here in the seashore of Hadera in Israel. It's the same thing. When you're going to swim with sharks, at the end, you'll be eaten by the sharks. The evilness, the negative, total negative values that being spread by the Chinese Communist Party. Basically, the idea that there's no God, and therefore there's no difference between human beings and animals. And just as you can grow up goats in order to, sell their liver, you can take human beings, put them in concentration camps, and then cut off their organs and sell it. This idea represents a total evil, a world that erased God totally. And every free man, every free society, every society that still believe in the spark of God in every human being have to get up against that. And if you don't, it'll get to you, because the Chinese Communist Party sells all kind of goods to the entire world. Not just electricity, cars, weapons, and whatever, okay? They also sell and spread values. And we actually see how, and they're working very hard on that, and putting a lot of efforts in spread their values. We saw it during the corona. We saw that where the virus came from. And we saw the way the entire world dealt with it in a way that erased human rights all over the world. The source of it is the Chinese Communist Party. When you observing and living with an empire that spread these kind of values to the entire world, at the end you find yourself using your human rights where you think you're safe. In the Western world, in every free society, you observe it slowly but surely. We all losing our basic human lives, we see how globalism and progressivism catches those ideas that erase the individual right for freedom. It all came from the same sources, and we have to stand against, we have to understand the face of the monster. And there's no doubt that the Communist Party of China is having a good part of that face, of that monster that swallow human rights all over the world. In few days, we're going to memorize the day of Holocaust here in Israel. And then again, it's again the same story. And at the 7th of October, we got a terrible remembrance, day of remember, that the deep evilness that 80 years ago was represented by the German Nazis, today it's represented by the Islamo-Nazis. It's the same evilness, it's the same evil that glorify death, don't see any holiness in life itself, in human beings, and all of the world that believes in God, the world that got the message of the Bible, of the Ten Commandments, all civilization that grew up on that concept of one God, monotheism, and the Ten Commandments, including, of course, do not murder, should stand up against those cultures and those ideologies that represents and spread the entire opposite. And the first ones, the first country, the first state that has the obligation to represent that obligation, to stand against it, should be Israel, the state of the Jews, where this whole moral concept of freedom and identity came from, to begin with, to the entire civilization. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. Basically, to tell the world, to tell humanity, to tell all free societies in the world, all the civilization that grew up based on that concept that the people of Israel brought to the world 3,337 years ago in Mount Sinai. That there's one God, and therefore we all have our identity. We are people, free people under the wings of God. The Ten Commandments that obey any human beings, and including the biggest ruler. Do not murder. There is the Almighty above you. And we all free. All people are free under the wings of the Almighty. I'm telling from here to everybody who listens, we, the people of Israel, the deep conscience of the people of Israel, did not forget who we are. We are here. We are in the land of Israel. We're building our state again. And the message of Zion, the message of freedom, the message of faith will be spread and light and shine the entire world, God willing, very soon.